Hello, everyone. Welcome to Game Junk Prototype, episode 38, recording on November 27th, 2020. My name is Frank.
My name's Sean.
And my name's Andrew.
We are recording on Black Friday, the ultimate day for gamers.
Happy Thanksgiving to our American friends.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. It's Black Friday. Who cares? That was yesterday. Let's get real here. This is what it's all about. Hashtag buy. Gotta buy it all. Where are you guys at with your Black Friday purchases?
Well, I bought a few things. I'm not allowed to show them on screen because Frank doesn't want to be disgusted, but I'm going to show it anyway. I didn't buy this on Black Friday. I bought this previously, but it was $50 off at Best Buy, and I was able to price match and get the $50 back. But it's
whoa. So it was $50 off. How much was that thing? That hunk of garbage?
Originally $100.
Oh my God! You paid $100 for that?
So for our non-video listeners, why don't you tell them what it is?
So this is yes. So it's a Samsung GLAP, G-L-A-P. GLAP. Forgot the GLAP.
Jay's losing it right now. Like, why don't you just get it, have an Android clip and use a Bluetooth controller?
I have that. I just wanted something a little better because I find that the clip things when you're using like an Xbox or DualShock, well, I have the one for the Xbox controller. It's just weighted weird. I don't like using it for long periods of time. So I just, I was actually looking at the Razer Kishi, which is more expensive than this. And also the problem, so it's kind of good and bad. The Kishi actually plugs directly into your phone, so less lag. But my goal with this one was it's Bluetooth. I thought I could use it for iPhone and Android. But Apple, who Frank loves, said, fuck that. We're not letting you use this, even though you can actually pair with it. It just doesn't work. For no reason. No good reason why it shouldn't work.
We will not allow hunk of trash products to connect to our devices.
Anyway, I do like it, but the one complaint I have about it is if you look at the shoulder buttons here, they're kind of in a weird spot where you basically have to have like two fingers on it.
I'm averting my eyes. I cannot look at that thing anymore.
So it's hard to go between the shoulder buttons with one finger. But other than that, it's pretty nice.
I might have to pick one of these glaps up.
Check it out. I mean, it's $50 at Best Buy right now in Canada.
So how does it work? It like pulls apart and then it fits a phone of any size, basically?
Yeah, that's right. Let me just show you here.
Oh, beautiful.
Take that.
Oh, yeah.
Put your phone in between here.
This is VIP technology.
Perfect.
Right here. Oh.
So
glorious.
looks like a Switch.
For $50? No brainer.
Very nice for your xCloud gaming needs.
No brainer.
Although they did just say that they're looking at potentially releasing smart TV apps for xCloud in the near future. So
this does have a 2.3 out of 5 stars on Best Buy Canada right now. So
oh yeah,
it's a real hot review.
Slightly less than middle of the road review. Anything else, Sean?
A few things. I mean, I did the whole Game Pass top up thing. You can get
I forgot to do
$30
that.
Is that over?
for 3 months. No, I think it's still going on. But usually, most stores you can only buy one per store, so you got to go like buy a bunch from different stores to max out your Game Pass extension. I also got Tony Hawk and Watchdogs, which I've just barely started playing. But yeah, I mean, lots of games that I'm actually surprised are on sale right now. So feels like retailers are a little desperate this year, maybe. I don't know. What about you, Frank?
Well, let's get to Huck first.
Oh, okay. Well, I went to my library. I picked up 4 games for free. And that's the extent of my Black Friday event spending. I am so out of it. I actually thought today was Thursday for some reason and that Black Friday was tomorrow. So I wasn't even looking at stores. I just assumed everything was not started yet. I'm out of it. I don't even know what's going on. I'm deep in the rum and coke, loving life, not paying attention to anything. So enjoy the show, boys.
I mean, most of the sales have been going on all week, really, but
Just make sure you don't play any VR tonight. You might have a VR hangover tonight.
Maybe I will. Maybe I will.
Definitely possible.
Well, I bought a couple digital games. I bought Watchdogs Legion.
Watchdogs Legion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I find it so hard to say that game. And Maneater. I bought that.
Did you give that a try yet?
I did. I played a little bit. It's okay. I like animals. I like playing as animals. That's about the highlight so far. Wasn't super impressed with that one. But I went out today, just take a look at some stuff. Walked into Walmart. No shoppers had any Xbox Series S's. I was walking in the Walmart electronics section. I just asked, any chance you got any Series X's or PS5s? We know a lot of people looking for PS5s, so I'm like, thought I'd ask. Who knows what's going to happen? And they did have some Series X's there, so up a couple of those, and I kept one, and then I had friends who were trying to find one, so supplied them.
You dropped big money at Walmart.
Yeah, unfortunately, who cares? You don't get any rewards or anything. It's just, hard to find them. So I hooked someone up and myself up, which is good. And I played it a bit. I hooked it up. I started downloading stuff that actually took quite some time. I will say the packaging. People were creaming over this packaging. That's all I heard about is, oh my God, the packaging. They've reached Apple level with their packaging. I mean, it's okay. Let's not get crazy here. We've got a couple of Sonos products here and there. It's about on par with that. It's got some nice black styrofoam. I will certainly say that. I like that, but
You're not going to impress the Apple fanboy here.
No.
Yeah, we need to get this in Sean's hands.
It was
see a real take.
It was nicer I'll say this, by leaps and bounds, way better than the PS5 packaging. I will concede packaging in these toxic console wars forever. They won the packaging war. Packaging battle. So I played a bit of Gears Tactics, which I was liking a little bit. That's really all. I haven't noticed that big of a difference. Oh, I should say, I really like the controller. I know it's very similar to the old one, but they've added some grips on the bottom. The shoulder buttons, also not shoulder, the triggers have some grip on them, which is pretty nice. And the D-pad, slightly curved up, a little bit of a change to the D-pad, similar to one of the detachable D-pads on the Elite controller, and it's pretty good too. Very responsive. So, in general, not a major upgrade, but definitely an upgrade with the controller. User interface basically exactly the same. Yeah, it didn't feel like a next-gen experience yet. I haven't played that much, so it's tough to say. Although Gears Tactics, I think, was running 60 frames 4K, and it looked really good. So that was nice, but I just got it out of my system. I've been looking for this thing everywhere. It's like, should I buy this? Oh, well, it's a Shoppers Redemption Day. No one has them. So the soonest I'm going to get it at Shoppers is probably February. Can I wait that long? I can't wait that long. It's going to drive me nuts. I got to make it.
So you got a Series S or X?
X.
Okay.
Yes.
Only losers would get Series S.
Well, no, come on.
It is a little interesting though. I've talked to a couple people who got Series X's, and of course I'm like, oh, so what are you playing on these things? And everybody's just like, just old games, stuff from my backlog, And it's kind of weird that. I mean, I don't know. It's just when you get excited about a new console, you want to play a new game, and there's just nothing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we've talked about forever. And you guys were always saying, well, you got Game Pass. That's pretty good. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Game Pass is good. I'm just not that excited about it. And, I understood Huck's sentiments that there's no real reason to buy one. I disagree. I think there are reasons to buy a PS5. I think there are launch games that are really good. But Xbox, unless you're a fan of the ecosystem and looking to upgrade, or just insane like me, then yeah, no real reason. But we got to get to what this leads into. Which,
well, hang on. Before you move off of the Xbox, I must say, I think that the smart delivery concept that they have is actually quite good, because
I agree.
I'm looking at here's a case of Call of Duty Black Ops. Let's see if we can get that on screen. It's probably backwards, which makes it shit. But
I think you might be a little embarrassed here, so just be careful what you say.
I'm just saying, you buy the game and it says Xbox One or Xbox Series X. Basically, you could put this disc in either console, and then once you upgrade, your disc is still good.
Oh yeah. Well, guess what, bud? Don't speak too soon, because you picked the one game where you do not get the upgraded executable for Series X if you put that in your console.
Really?
You play the Xbox One X version of that game on your Series X. To play the executable for your Series X, it is a different game, and if you didn't buy he's holding up Call of Duty Cold War, by the way, you had to buy, like, see how you see the X in the corner of that one?
This is Watchdogs Legion. I'm holding
Watchdogs
right now.
Legion is different. That one, you automatically get the upgraded version. That is not the case with Call of Duty. So it is still...
Oh, I do notice that. The Xbox...
Oh, yeah.
Versus Xbox One on the case. Very subtle.
Yes. So you got fooled. You got fooled.
Luckily, I didn't buy either of them.
That's why I said be careful. I said be careful, and you didn't listen.
Luckily, I don't have a Series X yet, so I didn't even notice.
Yeah, you're fine. You're good. Now you know, and people listening know. Now, I believe you can upgrade if you bought only the digital version, though. If you bought the digital version of Cold War, and I think you can upgrade it for $10. I'm trying to help my friends with that right now, but it is very confusing. I'm trying to figure that out. And in general, you just got unlucky. You picked the one game where it's really...
I only got two options. Two options from the library, so...
That's one of them. So, I don't know. Other than that, I agree. It's really good. But really, the same thing kind of applies for PlayStation. The only thing that doesn't work nicely, which we have to give credit to Xbox for, is save games and cloud saves working seamlessly. So for 95% of the population, that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. I know you're both big fans of it. For people who have a certain affinity for trophies and achievements, like myself, I don't want that. I want separate SKUs and the potential to play games twice. So I prefer the option on PlayStation. You might call it toxic tribalism. You might call it whatever you want. I want the potential to get trophies for two versions of games.
You're talking about wanting two trophies. Meanwhile, you were the first to jump on this Miles Morales double trophy pop in one go thing.
Yeah,
why didn't you just not unlock it? Why didn't you not upload your save and just play through it twice and get the double trophy with double the effort?
Look, if I can get double the trophy with zero the effort, then that's a much better proposition.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, I also did it for Spider-Man Remastered, which just had that patch this week. And so that was a platinum in about half a second, which feels real good.
Hey, speaking of trophies.
And I did have to get 3 extra trophies that didn't auto-pop. They have a DLC expansion with some extra trophies. 2 of them I had, but 3 I had to get. So I actually had to play the game and do something to get 100%, which I did.
So speaking of trophies, huge news.
Uh-oh.
Guess who got his first platinum this week?
Uh-oh, I think I'm looking at him. That's your son.
Well, it was combined effort, really. Yeah. had to go all in on Astro's Playroom. So
Ooh.
huge platinum.
Maybe you're hooked. How did it feel?
Game of the year?
Not that great. I mean, those trophies were just kind of like they're not hard, and I don't know how you would ever know some of these things without looking them up, right? Like,
That's right.
I don't really understand that aspect of trophies. Like, they're hidden trophies, but there's no way you're ever going to find half these things on your own.
I mean, every game's different, but typically hidden trophies are story-related things. There's not many that hidden ones that you would never be able to figure out on your own. I don't think, but there are exceptions. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
So every game's different. But yeah, let's just talk about it while we're here, while we're talking about these new consoles. I won't call it a console war. I don't want to participate in that. Environment anymore. There are two new consoles, both of which are great, and each one is probably perfectly suited for different types of gamers. And perhaps both are suited for a particular gamer, like myself, who opted to buy both consoles. I want to remain neutral in this insane battle that's taking place, and I don't even want to acknowledge it anymore. But Phil Spencer came out and said that tribalism with the consoles is one of the worst things in gaming right now. I think he called it toxic, among other things. I really didn't read the full article. It seemed like, to be fair, it was probably like just pulling some quote out and making it into some big deal. So I don't even know. But what do you guys think? I've seen lots of takes on this where people are like, well, they're the ones claiming their console's the most powerful console ever. They're also the ones that, put out some little memes about using the stand on their consoles. Like, I know Phil doesn't personally represent all of the company, and that stuff is done by marketing departments. But, Xbox has certainly participated in the essence of a console war in some way. It's not like they've been above that stuff throughout their marketing and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I don't really, I honestly don't think it's a big deal at all. People are always going to pick sides on these things. We can talk. We did talk a bit about this. When was it? As to whether or not console wars are good. Oh, when Bethesda got acquired by Microsoft, and I think we touched on it a bit. But what do you guys think? Is this a disgusting area of the current gaming landscape? Is it a complete debacle? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think competition is always going to be good for the consumer, right? So I think the console wars are kind of a good thing from a lot of perspectives. I kind of see what he's saying. Like, I think there are people who take it a bit far, who are, actively rooting for another company to fail and taking things a bit too far maybe. But I don't see there being a problem with, two companies kind of going head to head and kind of trying to one up each other. Like, that's what the spirit of business is. That's, where innovation comes from.
Well, I think a lot of it is basically surrounding, as far as I know, comment sections and Reddit and stuff like that, where people,
right.
I mean, who cares? Like,
that's the internet today, unfortunately.
I know this is the way it goes, and no one's like those comments. Maybe some people listen to them. I don't know, but even within those comments, it doesn't feel like anyone's mind is ever changed. So what difference does it make anyway? It's just people, sounding off about something, and ultimately it's not like, oh, you convinced me, you changed my mind. Like, you have your opinion. It's voicing it in probably stupid ways sometimes. I know people call me a PlayStation fanboy. I'm just commenting on whatever to me is the better product or service at any given point in time. I went from Xbox 360 to PlayStation 3. Then for a period of time, Xbox One was better for me. Then PlayStation 4 caught up, and I think PlayStation 5 is better than Series X. It may change. I don't know. Lots of things can change. Uh, I've moved back and forth. I've always gone from phase to phase, and lately, nothing has really made me switch phases between stuff. And I mean, it's weird that it's kind of always about Xbox and PlayStation because to me, the Nintendo community is always the worst for this stuff. They're definitely the least aggressive, I would say. Like the Xbox and PlayStation communities, just in the comment sections I see, seem to be like the most annoying, basically. But I guess Nintendo commenters tend to be annoying for a different reason in their unbridled, unwavering defense of Nintendo, no matter what they do. And that's where that gets really annoying. That any decision Nintendo makes is the right decision. They've never done anything wrong, and every other company hates their consumers. But Nintendo, man, they just want to make the best game possible. And if it gets delayed for 10 years, then okay, who cares? Like, I just want to play the best version of Metroid Prime 4 ever. That's it. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting how Nintendo pulled themselves out of that whole race essentially, right? Like
yeah.
starting with the Wii, they kind of just said, we're not even going to try to keep up with the Joneses. It's not about the technology, or like, it's not about sort of the, cutting edge graphics and stuff for us. It's about trying to come up with interesting new ways to play games. And it's really worked out well for them, obviously.
Well, to use my film junk, like my hated cliche of every filmmaker just saying, I'm a storyteller. It boils down to being a storyteller. I feel like that cliche with Nintendo is ultimately we're a toy company. We make toys for people to play with and experiment with. That's all we care about. Like that's their version of it. It's gross. Just make some games for fuck's sakes. Which they do. Don't get me wrong, but it's been a while.
Speaking of Nintendo, I think like the console wars, like in my perspective, wasn't hasn't really been that big since the Genesis Super Nintendo days, when literally you would like you would shit on your friends if like they weren't in the same camp as you. You know what I mean? Like if you were a Genesis kid and your friend had a Super Nintendo, you couldn't believe it. You were like, "Oh, you're losing
Well,
it."
okay, this might be me and my I guess how I'll switch sides pretty quickly, but I got a Genesis for Christmas one year, and then Super Nintendo came out around the same time or shortly thereafter, and immediately I was like, maybe I defended the Genesis a bit, but it was like, okay, this is way better. I can't even deny it. I want this so bad. If I could go to my friend's house to play their Super Nintendo, I would. Believe me, they weren't coming over to play my Genesis ever. Don't get me wrong. I had friends that loved the Genesis, and as an older gamer, I certainly appreciate the Genesis even more. But in my youth, I did not defend the Genesis all that much. I was attached to it. I was attached to their stuff. I had a Sega CD. But the second I could personally afford a Super Nintendo, that happened.
But also just like the sheer advertising, like Sega does what Nintendo don't. Like you don't see Xbox taking the same shots at Sony that Sega used to take at Nintendo, and vice versa. And also, there was no internet back then. Like, can you imagine if that sort of
Yeah.
marketing was used today in the internet age? Forums would be going crazy, like defending or attacking whichever ad came up as like the go-to ad for the time. I think if the internet was around back when those two consoles were really at each other's throat, it would have been even worse than just like, the playground, arguing and bickering that used to happen. It would have been crazy. And
Oh,
nowadays there's just not.
the war is being waged on social media now, though, right? So it's all about getting the memes that catch attention, and there's certainly been some attempts between Microsoft and Sony to throw a few little barbs here and there. But I mean, I do see Phil Spencer's point just from the point of view of you don't want one company to completely fail and tank because I think that does hurt the industry as a whole. So it's always good to have alternatives and other companies kind of trying to do their thing. So
Just look at EA Sports and hockey right now. Their product is absolute trash, and they have no competition.
hmm
So they have no market force to try to make it better. They can just shit out NHL roster updates with no improvements to their defensive AI or user AI, and just keep making money.
bring back Wayne Gretzky hockey.
Oh, I will kill Frank again at that game. Let's go.
We're gonna have to play again at some point.
Oh, of course. Of course.
I cannot stand this anymore.
Don't you have one of the... Well, Sean can bring his retro capture card. We'll stream that bad boy.
Oh yeah. This time I don't want to play with Sean before our
Oh,
game.
here we go.
Bring down
Here
my
we go.
screen.
Oh, good excuse, bud. Good excuse.
Well, maybe
Fine, I'll play with Sean and then whoop your ass, and then
Okay.
we'll see what happens.
maybe in a year from now we can make that happen.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Anything else to add to this current landscape of two consoles releasing? Is I guess the best way to refer to it. I don't want to upset Phil.
No, I don't think so.
I have both. I am a neutral party in this.
I mean,
I have
and-
zero. I am a neutral party.
Sean, you are the one. You're the polarizing.
Well, I mean, Frank called me and said, "Do you want a Series X?" Point blank, and I said, "No, I'm okay." So, I guess I'm siding with Sony on this one.
And this was the person defending Xbox, saying I was crazy. I was cuckoo bananas for saying it was over. That this console war, pardon me, that Sony made the better product. And I don't think the other company could gain that much market share over the next couple of years. Maybe that's how I'll say it. I think it's going to be tough for them to make up a market share. Of course, I hope Xbox succeeds and thrives, and I will continue to buy and support their products and most likely hardly play them. All right, let's move on. So some news. We didn't get to it last week. I don't have a ton to say about this. The Game Awards for 2020 were announced last week. Now, I have to say, I don't follow the Game Awards that closely. I guess I might watch a bit of it the night it's on because there's some trailers and announcements that are kind of interesting. I think it's cool that they happen, though. I like that it's becoming a thing and it's becoming more popular. This year felt like, I don't know if there was less releases by any traditional year standards, but to me, I could have guessed almost every nominee, at least in Game of the Year and most other categories. So, not surprisingly, the biggest nominee game is Last of Us Part 2 in many different categories, which I believe seems pretty obvious. The Game of the Year nominees: Animal Crossing New Horizons, which I would concur with. It is a great game. Doom Eternal, which I have not played.
Yeah, I mean, that was a little bit surprising to see that in there. I feel like in a normal year, maybe it wouldn't get to sneak in there, but
I guess if I
I
was
haven't played it
looking
either.
at things that could have replaced it, I would think maybe I'm
I
surprised.
thought you'd be pissed that Neo 2's not in there.
I haven't played it, so that's embarrassing
Oh,
for me. And
I thought you had played that one.
no. But now there apparently is going to be a free upgrade, and I got to see if those trophies auto pop and figure it out. That's a whole other thing. No time for that. I thought Half-Life Alyx. I was surprised
Yeah.
that was not a Game of the Year nominee because it is
Surprising.
nominated for game direction. I thought that might be a better fit than Doom Eternal, to be fair.
hmm
Final Fantasy VII Remake, which, as I've stated before, other than
Obvious.
Astro's Playroom, is the Game of the Year as far as I'm concerned.
Where's Astro's Playland?
Where's the
It's missing.
revival?
It's missing.
I think based on its size alone and, you know, what it is, I don't think it led it to consideration. I object. I do object. I think it is amazing. Sean, it's the only game you've ever platinumed, so you must think it's pretty good.
I mean, it's definitely going to be on my top 10. I don't know where yet, but it'll be in there.
Okay. Uh, and just for the record, for the auto popping trophies, it's only because they're giving me the option. If there was no option, like if Last of Us 2 has a PS5 version and they choose not to auto pop the trophies, I will welcome replaying that game. I just can't replay it if I'm not getting something for it. That's my problem. I admit it. I have a problem. Anyway, Ghost of Tsushima, very good game. I probably wouldn't have it in my game of the year, but
Whoa.
debatable. Hades, only played a bit of it. Think it's very good so far. I don't know if I can weigh in on whether I think it deserves game of the year status at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the one I would say again, not the kind of game maybe you would expect to be. Like you kind of expect it to be all like AAA games in the game of the year
I feel like they're
category.
kind of shifting that. Where
But
every year they kind of throw in one indie game and
yeah,
it's pretty much whenever a foreign
Also,
picture
you got
foreign language film gets nominated at the Oscars, you're like, well, that's going to win foreign language film, right? Like, so
yeah,
it's
right.
they're kind of telling their hand here. I'm assuming Hades is going to win best independent game, but I think it's cool that they do that though.
also not to be all conspiracy, but Supergiant Games is run by Greg Kasavin, who used to be in game journalism. So I'm sure he still has a lot of connections to all the game
Hmm.
journalists that vote
Whoa,
on
whoa.
this.
Be
So I'm
careful.
sure there's a little, you know what I'm saying, a little love for Greg going on. Which
I don't know. I think Hades is
Supergiant makes great
Hades,
games, but
pretty
I'm
Hades
just saying,
universally loved.
the reviews for Hades have been off the charts. So
I'm just saying they might get a little Nintendo-esque bump. You know what I'm saying?
it's
Because of Greg.
possible.
I don't know about that. I can't speculate. I will not speculate.
I did.
And finally,
Throw it out
Last of
there.
Us Part 2. Put the rye down, bud. You're going down some bad paths.
It's
uh,
it's spiced rum actually. Get it
pardon me,
right.
Spice Drum. Last of Us Part 2, also the other nominee. I mean, I everything else is just kind of variations on this. The exception would be Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Definitely is thrown in some of these categories. Some other interesting ones. Carrion, an indie.
Yeah, I
Uh,
was happy to see that in there
yeah.
for sure.
Oh,
13
actually, sorry, I'm an
Sentinels.
idiot. Oh, maybe I'm not. Sorry, that's debut indie. My bad. I was looking at Hades is an indie game. I like the idea of debut indie. I don't know if they've done that before. I think they might have, but I'm certainly not interested in, you know, some of the esports stuff and content creator things. I'm sure people are, just not my cup of tea. Uh,
One
but
game I want to try, which is nominated in Best Narrative, is 13 Sentinels, which is by Vanillaware, which did I think it was Dragon's Crown, and they did the Miramasa game.
oh yeah,
They
yeah,
they like specialize in Odin Sphere. They
yeah.
do a lot of like 2D, really great art action games. And I don't, you know what? I didn't even know this 13 Sentinels game came out, to tell you the
Yeah, me
truth. I
neither.
just heard
Yeah, that
about
was
it a couple days ago. I think it came out not too long ago, but I didn't even know it wasn't even on my radar at all. So I definitely want to check that one out.
The Metacritic's off the charts,
Is it?
86. Yeah.
Nice.
yeah, that was one of the ones that like I mean sometimes you go through these lists and you're like, oh, what are the cool games that I haven't heard of that I should check out? And with games, it's not as frequent that you see stuff in there that you haven't heard of, but that was the one that kind of was like, what is that?
Oh, it
So,
looks like it is a visual novel type thing. Where the other
yeah.
games Huck mentioned are certainly action games. This one seems like it's a different genre. But
Mm.
yeah, I'm still curious.
Now, here's a question. What is the games for impact category? What is the meaning
I
behind
was
that
just
one?
looking at that. Let's
I'm
look it up.
assuming like whether it's social justice or awareness of certain social issues.
Is that what it is?
I'm almost positive. Yeah. I'm trying to find the nominees.
Hmm.
Maybe not though. Let's games for impact.
It's yeah, I guess it's a term that's becoming used for games with a purpose beyond play. So I guess it's just, games that have a message or like sort of more of a art behind them, I guess. I don't really know, but
I guess yeah. It might be like
So on the
I don't
Game
know.
Awards website,
Yeah.
on the Game Awards website, it says for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message.
okay.
Yeah.
I had never heard of this If Found game.
Yeah, there was a
That's
bunch
on
there
here.
I didn't know about. For a second I thought oh no, they have an award in particular for accessibility. That's a different award. So
Do you
I
guys
think
know what
that
this Kentucky Route Zero TV edition is specifically? Is that just like all 5 episodes bundled into one?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I think is If Found an Annapurna game?
Don't know.
I feel
Sounds
like
like
I've seen something about it, but actually, the mobile category, that's one where it's like I don't know that
it is in
I,
a continue.
I would go to the mobile game category and hope to see some like, quirky, interesting stuff, but it's just a lot of big, like Call of Duty Mobile. Like, okay, I don't know. It's a weird category. I guess it makes sense for something like Among Us or Genshin Impact. Like that's on consoles. So is that really a mobile game? I don't know.
and,
What's the name of
and
that stupid thing you bought?
Huh?
What's the name of that thing you bought for
Glap?
Yeah, Glap. You
Glap.
got to Glap it up. You got to get Call of Duty Mobile. You got to get you got to try Genshin Impact on that thing when you're taking a shit or something. Like,
I do have it. I did download it on that phone, the
you
Android.
know,
good.
I must say it is weird that Among Us is on here now. I don't know when it came out on mobile, but it came out like in 2017 on Steam.
Yeah,
That
it's
game.
a couple years old.
So I know it's just kind of like hit its peak now. Maybe they just ported it to mobile, but I kind of feel like that's a weird one to have in this category. But I mean, it is definitely popular right now, so I guess it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things too where it's like, same with Oscars and award show in general. Like, do you pick sometimes nominees because they're popular, and if it's in there, people are going to pay more attention to your award show? Like, I guess that could be a factor too. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway,
Yeah, I can't seem to find when the mobile version of Among Us came out. Okay, that's all I have to say. I guess I'm pulling for Final Fantasy VII Remake. I doubt it'll win much, but that's who I would be picking for most of these.
The weird
Okay.
thing is, if you look at
If you would have
action,
told me that ahead of time at the beginning of the year, I would have said you are crazy.
yeah, before it came out, for sure, that was looking like it was going to be brutal. Because who knows what they would have done, but they pulled it off. But I wonder what the cutoff is for Game of the Year, because if you look at action adventure game, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is in here, which came out in November of 2019. So I imagine the cutoff is like early November for the Game of the Year awards. So it's kind of like a November to November award show,
Yeah.
which is a little weird, but I guess it makes sense.
yeah, you're probably going to see like Cyberpunk next year, I guess, something like that.
Well, you definitely will. Yeah.
Okay, any thoughts on that? We done?
Yeah, I mean, like just kind of what you said. It's kind of cool that it's become the de facto one. Like there were a few competing game award things before, and nobody really paid that much attention to them. So it's kind of cool to see that this become a thing, and that that people are paying attention to, and kind of bringing attention to certain games. Although a lot of them are just games everyone knows already.
Well, it's an award show, right? We're supposed to acknowledge the best games. Those tend to be popular.
Well, and I think Jeff Keighley is a good kind of spokesman for that. He's been in the game industry, like journalism side, for a long time, and apparently works hard because he could put together these big game award shows where he gets tons of exclusive trailers and like Death Stranding exclusive things. Like obviously he has contacts within many different areas of the game industry, and I think it's good that there is someone that can pull all that together. And didn't he have Reggie and who was it on stage at the same time? There was like, was it all three represented on stage at the same time, that one show? Or was it just Xbox and Nintendo?
I
Do
don't
you guys know
remember
what I'm
now.
talking about? Okay.
No.
Anyways, it seems like he's liked by everyone basically in the game industry, and so he makes like a perfect choice to run a show like this, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, what we played. Who wants to go first?
Uh, I mean, I don't have much new to say. I guess I have been going back to Ghost of Tsushima, still really enjoying it. Uh, I don't know. I'm like still in Act One, pretty much at the end of Act One. So I don't know if I'm just getting into the grind now, but I don't know. It's making me rethink. Like, I did pick up Watchdogs, and I haven't really played enough to say, but I'm starting to like open up to open world games a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to change my mind on that, but so far, yeah, I have been enjoying it and haven't gotten sick of it. And it,
I
it
can
it's
I was just
potentially in my top 10 of the year so far.
I was gonna say I can riff off that because I also have been playing Watch Dogs Legion, and I would say that I am falling off open world games,
Okay.
and I'm just finding this formula, specifically the Ubisoft formula, is just getting a little old for me. Especially when you kind of finish that first intro, and then they let you loose in the city. And I always found that, like in GTA games, they keep all the quests fairly close to you. You're able to just kind of slowly explore the world, and it slowly opens up for you. That works. Excuse me. That works great for me. But in this Watch Dogs game, like they let you loose, and then the first quest is like way on the other side of I don't know about way on the other side, but it seems pretty far away on the map. So I immediately had to try to figure out, okay, can I jack cars in this game? Like, is this like GTA? Do I have to run there? They don't really give you much guidance. Like, obviously, I just went and jacked a car though after a while and then drove there. But like, it was just too open too soon for me, and
Well, I
I
think
didn't
they
really
do
enjoy
put a
it.
car beside you when you exit there, but I agree. In general, how they're doing the tutorial stuff in their games right now, the prompts are on screen for such a short amount of time. Like, I'm missing half of the stuff. Like, it doesn't make you do it to make it go away. It just puts it up for a second. I I don't even get to read all of it necessarily, or I experiment or hit a button the wrong way and it's gone. And I'm like, what
Yeah.
are you doing? Like, there's a way to do this.
And
And
also with Watchdogs, how you can like point at so many stuff and shit's constantly popping up. Like, do you want to distract this person? Do you want to hack this thing? Like everywhere you look, it's constantly popping up little bits of information of what you could do in the world. And it gets distracting. Like you don't really know where to look. There's so much information on the screen at once. It's like you were saying, it's hard to then see the important information when it does pop up
yeah,
because there is so much other information kind of like clouding the screen.
yeah, I would say I'm probably about where you are. I think I might be a little further. I I was surprised. There's actually some stuff I really liked. So coming from Valhalla, which had very clunky movement, like deliberately so, I think, and I felt it was really slow to get around places. Um, I actually think the movement is really fast, really responsive. Even in stealth, you move very quickly. Like actually accomplishing things and doing what I wanted to do felt good. Like it was quick. It was very refreshing coming from Valhalla. I love that pickups off enemies are automatic. I don't
Yeah.
have to hit a button. It's about time people did that. Like, this is not a skill. Hitting A when I'm beside something means nothing. I hear a sound, I see an icon, perfect. Thank you. There was another thing they did that was context sensitive, where it just automatically happened, and I'm like, oh, this is good. I'll see if it pops back into my mind. So there are some cool things. I just think it's like like you said, a little too much going on at once. I think if I continue to play, I'll start to figure some of that stuff out, but that's fine. In general, both of the newest Ubi games, I'm not crazy about their storytelling at all. Like, I watched 3 cinemas, maybe 4, in that opening half an hour to an hour, and I could barely tell you what's going on. I think I was confused as to
Yeah.
whether I'm DedSec or Team Zero and what
Yeah, I was
happened.
wondering the same thing.
Like, what's going on here? Like, the storytelling is just not
Yeah.
great.
You're like the last hope for DedSec, essentially, and it's
Yeah,
not totally
like
clear
I don't know.
why.
When I was playing it first, I was playing as this kind of MI6 guy that he's part of DedSec. Like, he was
Yes.
talking to the
Yeah.
leader of DedSec, but
Yeah, he is part of it.
so they're on the team of the government.
Yeah,
I'm still
that's
confused.
in the intro. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
no,
I'm still confused. To be like
he,
to
he
be
like
fair, I'm
left
sure
CIA.
the dialogue and other things. I mean, it's kind of like the Beyond Good and Evil trailer a while ago. It just says "fuck" every 3
Yeah,
seconds.
so many F-bombs. I was playing this just before we started, and Kieran was in the room, and I was like, and Kieran was just like, oh, they just can't stop swearing. What is going on with this game?
If a kid says that, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Just stop it. Who are you trying to? I guess probably 13-year-olds like that. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, it
Guess
felt
I-
a little bit like they were just trying too hard there.
yeah, it's ridiculous.
So I actually got through the first 2, like I played through the intro, and then just before recording, I played the next 2 major missions, and I just kept having issues. So the first major issue I had, where it was like, it was pointing me to, I had to go into a restricted zone, which is very Assassin's Creed-esque. And then I go in, it's telling me to hack this door up on like the 2nd floor in the corner. So I sneak my way up there. I go to hack it and it says, oh, it's locked. I'm like, okay, that's shit. And then it shows you through like a red line
Yeah,
where
which
you have to go to activate
I
the
love
power.
that. I really like that.
And but it's fucking on the other side of the building on the ground floor. So I now have to backtrack all the way to the opposite side at the very furthest point away from me. Like, this is the first mission. Why are you doing this boring ass shit right away?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that mission, but like, you're not talking about the one like where you break back into DedSec, right?
No, I was in some sort of like castle-y looking thing.
But you
just
did
trying to
like
get some information.
you already learned the rotating line mechanic, right?
Yeah, after that. Yeah, after that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would consider it's after they set you free, after you get all your stuff in that DedSec
Okay.
HQ, and
So-
you do the brawling or the fist fighting.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you're further than me, but I actually
Okay.
I really like some of the puzzle stuff relating to like, I was wondering how are they going to make some of this hacking stuff interesting. Now I haven't played the last 2 Watchdogs. I played the first one a bit, but I actually thought like doing the line puzzles and tracking some of the stuff. I like that they're kind of leaning towards hyper unrealistic stuff for the sake of kind of gameplay. So I actually thought that stuff was okay. I'm not where you are yet though, but there was one other thing I don't know if I like or dislike this yet. I haven't played an open world game where you have to drive a car probably since Grand Theft Auto 4.
On the
Or
wrong
Grand
side of the
Theft-
road?
Sorry?
Or on I
Well,
was
that
going to say
too, but I just
on the
I
UK
haven't had
side of the road.
to drive to get to a location. Like, compared to swinging webs in Spider-Man or riding a horse, like, it's so limiting. Like, it's kind of annoying. And they have auto drive options, but at the same time, I'm like, wow, I haven't done this in a while. It's, in a way, it's kind of fun to drive a car again. But I mean, in Grand Theft Auto 4, I would always just like teleport and do whatever anyway. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know where I stand on that yet. I just found it interesting that every open world game I love and complete, I don't drive a car in, and now I'm back to driving a car again.
Yeah. It's that mechanic you were talking about where you kind of like rotate an electrical, I guess, how would you even describe that? Like directional.
It's a circuit.
Yeah, it's like a
connecting
puzzle.
circuit.
You rotate around to make it go the right way. And that's actually in Half-Life Alyx as well,
Oh,
that
okay.
exact same mechanic. So I was kind of like, I wonder who stole it first. Kind of
Well,
thing.
there
I mean,
is
not
one
that
thing
it's not new, but
There is one thing annoying with that. If you hold L1, which is the hacking button,
yeah.
and like you use the right stick to aim at those things. If you, when you hover over one, it doesn't switch. You have to let go of L1 and press it again to focus on it, which is really annoying.
Yeah.
I don't know how that made it. I'm sure there's a reason, like it breaks something else, but that is brutal. Whoever came up with that.
Yeah. So just a little, I played a little further. So you've played that first area where I told you I had the problem with the restricted area. Then you go to this other area where you have to kind of like climb to the top of a building to change a billboard. That was okay. The like vaulting is a little clunky at times, and like where you can vault and where you can jump over is a little clunky. But then the next mission after that, you have to like break into this prison kind of thing, and then you have to talk to someone. But it's really weird because you break into this prison, there's all these like prison cells, and it like gets you to unlock the prison cells. But then after you do that, there's no one in them. And then it's like, go find the guy, and he's like way on the other side, nowhere near a prison cell, just in the middle of this like concrete area. It's really strange. Like I could not follow the story of what was actually happening. So I killed a bunch of guys in the area, and then I go to talk to him, and I can't because there are some alerted guards near me because I had set off like the alert alarm or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And
it was like the Ghost of Tsushima problem almost.
yeah. So a couple guards kind of like came at me, and I killed them. And then it got to the point where there was one guy left, and he was on. So if you think of it like an open courtyard, you're in a courtyard and then the building's beside you. This guy was in the second floor roof like area, and I was in the courtyard, and because he was alerted, I couldn't talk to the dude. So I had to like backtrack all the way through the building to try to hunt down this asshole who literally has no idea I'm there. There's no chance he knows where I am, and he's just running in a circle on the second floor like an idiot.
Uh-oh.
And
yeah, Huck City getting pissed.
I shut out the game.
Like
I shut out the game.
Arbiter of AI.
Oh well, it's just so frustrating because now I have to waste my time going all the way back through the like dungeon area I just cleared or thought I cleared.
Your person's skills?
Oh, I don't know. He was some douchebag hacker guy that ran a darknet website or something like that.
Because I know some of them can have like this drone that they can fly on and do stuff like.
Yeah, I don't even know what my guy's thing was.
Oh, okay.
He was some sort of hacking skill or something.
I was going to ask about that, like with regards to the traversal. Like, do some of the people you can recruit have different traversal methods?
I haven't even gone there yet. There was like this thing where you can hold the L1 button like Frank was saying, or LB if you're a real Xbox fanboy like me, and you can you can scan a guy. And then I noticed that when I scanned like a random NPC, that if you hold the R1 button or RB button, it says like save this person to something. So I tried to like hold that down, but I couldn't tell where that information went. So it seems like you can use that to like recruit people or something, because you can see their stats and you can see what their
if you hover over them with L1, it'll like you can choose to target them for recruitment. I haven't gotten further than that yet, where it's like, how do you advance that? But
yes, exactly. So you can mark them somehow, but I never figured out how to actually like get them to join your team or anything like that. But literally after this like AI bug where I had to go all the way back through, I just ejected that disk, uninstalled it, back in the library bag. I'm done. I don't have time for that.
I'm in some ways, I think they're catering the game to. This is pure speculation, that they're catering it to people who've played the first two, which I kind of like in some ways. But
there's definitely an element of that, I would say.
Because I hate when I remember Uncharted 2, the first mission was like, I've played the first Uncharted 6 times. You're like really like making me walk super slow everywhere. I just want to play this game. So I don't know. I could see it both ways with that. I don't have a strong stance, but when I reacted, when you said Xbox fanboy, and I went, ugh. I wasn't doing that for being an Xbox fanboy. It was, you said the LB button, the bumper, like undeniably a worse button than the L1 button on PlayStation. Like the bumpers suck on Xbox controllers. We all agree with that, right? As a button you have to hold down.
They're fine. Whatever.
Okay, I'll take Sean's silence. Yes, I agree with you. I know they're not as good as your. Why can't I remember what this thing's
The
called?
glop. The glop.
Lap.
Glap.
I don't even know what it stands for, actually.
Like those buttons look insanely bad, but maybe they're good. It's something you have to feel. I just they look very strange.
They're just set up only for one thing, like for using both fingers at the same time, like an index finger on one and middle finger on the other. If you have to alternate, it's not great.
People do that. People put index on one button and
Savages.
I guess it depends what game you're playing, but
oh, I could never do that. Oh, I wish I could. It might actually be better. Like that would break my brain. Anyway, I played Eater, not Manhunter. It's okay. I like the movement with the shark. It's
Do you play as the shark?
yeah.
Okay.
It's like an action game, open world action game where you play as a shark, which I just love that idea. Like I said, I like
And it's
games
3D, right? 3D?
yeah, where you play as animals. And I am liking it a bit, like the vibe, but the combat and like the first boat I fought, these like shark hunters, God, it was annoying. Like it was not fun. So I'll probably push through for a platinum over the next few weeks, but it's
Just a slight push.
it's not blowing me away at this point. I got like sevens everywhere. I'm like, who's reviewing these games? And then really good games eights. I'm like, something is off here. Something does not make sense. Was there anything else I played? I've did a few more missions in Cold War, which are pretty good.
I played a bit of that. I just played I guess the first two missions. I just started the third one. I must say, I am so impressed with the level of detail in these Call of Duty games still. Now, I'm just playing on the Xbox One, and it's making me want to play. This is the one game I think would be really impressive on a higher-end console because I know they put a lot of detail. You can see it. They've scaled down the hair. They've scaled down the effects. They've scaled down the lighting. I can see it in the Xbox One version. I'm also running on an Xbox One original, so I already have a very low end kind of last gen console. I know it's disgusting, but I would like to see this game on a Series X or a PS5 because I think it would be a pretty big upgrade. Did you have like chugging frame rate issues during the opening video and stuff? Okay,
I did not.
Because the audio is good, but the video is so chuggy and out of sync. I was like, oh, what's going on here? But I figured it was just an Xbox One issue. But I thought the gameplay was pretty good. It was still that sort of like big set piece moment you expect from a Call of Duty game. It was the first two areas were pretty corridor there wasn't much variety, and then I just got in that mission where you hop on the helicopter and I think you go and start shooting stuff with
It's pretty fun.
the gun on the helicopter. That's where I got it.
Sean, the next mission is like full on spy, bud.
nice.
Stealth spy stuff going on. You gotta check it out.
I might.
It's pretty good. It's not amazing by any means, but I just haven't played a Call of Duty campaign in so long. I'm kind of liking it. I guess I like the concept of this one a bit more, the Cold War stuff, but whatever.
Now, is the multiplayer different than Warzone? Is there like
Yeah.
a separate multiplayer? Okay.
But Warzone's still there, but the
Okay.
actual maps for multiplayer and the weapon progression system and all that stuff is different.
Okay.
And I've played more of that than I have the single player campaign. And I'm actually liking the multiplayer better than the last game. I find the maps and the other one, like, there was so much lighting stuff going on. I'm sure they were trying to make it look good, but it really impacted gameplay where people could hide in shadows at the back of like second floors of buildings and you couldn't see them. And I am liking these maps more than the previous game, but we'll see. I'll probably hate everyone on every map in a matter of weeks. Was there anything else I played? I don't think so. Gears Tactics, I played a half an hour. Like, it just finished before I got here, and it was pretty good. I mean, after playing Mario Rabbids, I kind of know got the general idea with some of these tactics-based games or turn-based strategy, and they added some cool stuff. Like reloading becomes a thing in this game now. They have
Well, that's like XCOM. If you've played any of the XCOM games, it's almost identical. I played this game when it first came to the PC.
Yeah.
A couple months ago. It's very, very similar to XCOM, or the newer XCOMs, I should say.
Do they have the other thing I was going to say that I kind of like is the bayonet charges and stuff like that, the chainsaw stuff. I thought that was pretty good, and the actual kills make it a bit more interesting. XCOM had that too, right? Like
I would say it's a little more cinematic than XCOM. They do a lot more like camera angles and stuff when you do stuff than I remember XCOM doing.
I do like
or less a little more polished, I would say.
And I guess I briefly, because it was the fastest thing I could download on the Series X while I was waiting for the big stuff to download, was it Supraland that you had talked about, Sean, that I was interested in? Played about half an hour of that, and it was pretty good. I was enjoying it. I haven't gotten into the meat and potatoes per se of the game, but I was digging it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I want to go back to that for sure.
I think that's it for me. Do you guys have anything else?
I have a few more things.
Okay.
After Dwyer was talking about River City Girls, I fired that up for maybe half an hour or 45 minutes. I was enjoying it.
Is that on Game Pass?
Yes.
I didn't see it there. Okay, I'm going to download that after this.
It was pretty fun. It was a little slower paced than I was expecting, like the combat speed. I think I still prefer Streets of Rage 4 over this game. It seems like this 2D side-scrolling battle or combat games are kind of coming back with Battletoads, Streets of Rage 4, and River City Girls this year. I think of those three, I definitely prefer Streets of Rage 4 over all of them, just because I think it's a little faster. Maybe I just have more experience with Streets of Rage 4 too, or Streets of Rage in general.
Yeah, the one thing with that, I agree with you that it felt a little slow at first, but if I remember correctly, the original River City Ransom was like that, and there's a bit of RPG elements, so you get faster throughout the game.
Yeah, I did notice I was leveling up. I didn't get to the point, I leveled up one or two times. I didn't really understand what the level up was doing for me. I just didn't really look into it that much. So I do want to go back and play it. I thought there were some things that I was just comparing it too much to Streets of Rage 4 and those mechanics, which I think was kind of bugging me. Now, what I do like is there's a block, though I could never really get it to work. And the other thing I didn't like that I do love in Streets of Rage 4 is that if you get close enough to someone, you automatically grab them, and then you can do some moves. Whereas in this game, you have to hit them enough where they fall down and then kind of become dazed before you can grab them. So that aspect I found doesn't really work, because in Streets of Rage 4, the grab mechanic can also act like what do you call it? Almost like an area of attack or area of defense, where you grab them and then you kind of throw them backwards, and then you knock other enemies away from you. Gives you a little extra room to breathe. Whereas in this game, I found I was getting a little too clumped up with guys and getting beat that way. But overall, I didn't make it very far. Like I said, only about half an hour, 45 minutes, but definitely going to go back to it. Really, I was enjoying it so far. I definitely want to get more into the mechanics, because I think that RPG aspect of it could be interesting. Do you have anything else, Sean? Because I have two more things I could go into.
Nope.
Okay. I played Miles Morales. Not very long, maybe an hour or an hour and a half. But I really like how they did... how they introduced this character, and how they kind of put a twist on the whole you lose your powers cliche at the beginning by him having basically a brand new character. It's still Spider-Man, but now it's a new character, so it makes sense that he doesn't have all the skills of the other Spider-Man, or he has some of them but not all of them. And then he
I will say,
also,
after playing Spider-Man Remastered to get those 3 trophies,
yeah,
man, the combat is even more different than I thought it was. Like the
really?
core systems are the same, but like the gadgets are completely different. Like I don't know. I think it's enough of a difference to justify itself. Sorry, keep going.
Well, I just said I haven't got any gadgets yet or any of those things. I haven't been able to get any of the, what do they call them, like action points or something like that, to be able to upgrade your things, action tasks or something. But I was liking the Venom power, they call it, which I think is a strange name for that, considering they have the Venom enemy in the game. You'd think they would have named it something different, or not in the game, but in the universe.
Yeah, I
I
was
don't
gonna
know if
say like
I don't know if Venom's in the game, but he's in the universe. So I felt that like kind of a strange name, but overall I liked it. I like how like subtle things are added to the game. So like a lot of the stuff is the same. You got the J. Jonah Jameson radio station. You got some other radio stations like podcast, but then Miles will like put a little comment in as you're swinging just to give it a little change of pace. Also, there's like a soundtrack that's playing while you swing around, which I don't think was in the first game. So you have almost like he's listening to music while he's swinging around the world, at least in the beginning. I don't know if that changes later on. But that's a nice little twist where you have this sort of soundtrack throughout the whole game of music that's playing, which I found nice. And I am not sure I'm sold on the Venom power only because the button presses to get it to activate sometimes feel a little strange to me. Like I can't always get it to work how I want it to do. And there's been a lot of like press L1 and X and square at all at the same time to do like the power slam move or whatever. And I have a feeling that maybe the amount of skills is going to go up throughout the game. There's just going to be tons and tons of button combos you need to remember. So not only do you have like the circle triangle finisher, but now you have this like L1 plus all these buttons. Like I guess L1 is your Venom
yeah,
power
just
essentially
activate that
modifier.
power. Yeah, it's kind of like
Yeah.
I hate to be a typical gamer, but get good, bud. It's not.
Well, like I said, I'm only a half an hour in or an hour in. I'm not very far. Um, Now, I must say, this game at first had the same issue I had with Watchdogs, where you fire it up, the first open area mission is like swing super far away to get to your point. And, I think it works okay in this game only because I think it makes some assumption that you've played Spider-Man already. You know how to swing pretty efficiently. Maybe you're just kind of getting back into it. But it did seem like it was too far away. Like I don't know why they need to put that initial area so far away. It was fine. I got there. It worked. But
I mean, I
I don't
didn't
know.
chime in with Watchdogs. I did not think the mission was that far away. If you get in a
Okay,
car,
well,
it was like 30 seconds. But
well, that's the thing though. They're assuming
this
you get
guy's
in a
time is
car.
way too precious.
It is way too bright. I got 4 library games to play in a week. I gotta get them in. But anyways, I'm not very far.
I
I was
assume with
like,
Spider-Man, it is to like for people who haven't played to learn how to swing. Like,
yeah, and they do have prompts, obviously, to like teach you how to swing. So that is obviously the case. But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't as opposed to it as I was in Watch Dogs because Spider-Man actually was giving you tutorial prompts on how to do it, whereas in Watch Dogs, it's just like, here's the world. You should know you need to get in a car or steal a car or whatever. And then, but then going on, the last thing I played was Animal Crossing New Horizons. Got that at a library. Kids are loving it. Wife's loving it. I'm barely playing any of it, but my island is conveniently progressing at an extremely fast extremely fast pace because Marisa just is insane with the amount she's putting into this game. But that's good. I mean, the kids are loving it. I think it'll probably be a Santa gift for the kiddos. But it's I'm liking it. It's nice. It's kind of relaxing. There doesn't seem to be an end game from what I can tell. And there's like little tricks to do that we've been looking up that make it a little more accessible, I would say, or a little time-saving things. Because there are a lot of things like you need to collect that could take a while if you're not sort of like optimizing it. I'm speaking specifically of like hitting rocks to get the iron nuggets or whatever you need.
Oh, yeah.
That could take a while if you're not really like doing it in the optimal way.
You're not like digging 2 diagonal holes so you can't get pushed back, are
Oh,
you?
hell yeah, I am. I see you also watch that video.
I read about it. I did not do it. I could just like aim it and do it that I get 8 every time, which is
okay. Well,
I'm fine with the 8.
you're a pro star.
Yep.
That's really it for me. But overall, like enjoying Animal Crossing. I think the Game of the Year nomination may have a COVID bump, kind of popped in there, but it is still a fun game.
It would probably be my number 2. It'd be pretty close between that and The Last of Us Part 2 for my runner-up for.
Look at this guy. Astro's Playground just keeps getting knocked down and down after this guy is talking about Game of the Year for this thing.
It's number 1, but I understand that it's like a really short game. But that short experience was the most fun I've had. And really, it's all for Sean. Sean platinumed it.
It's all for Sean.
Even though I said this before he platinumed it, it's the ultimate confirmation of what I already felt inside.
Let's be honest, it's not a COVID bump, it's a Nintendo bump because they had to have a Nintendo game in those Game of the Year nominees.
Right,
should have been Paper Mario, probably, let's be honest too.
Now,
but
I have not played should have been Paper Mario. What do you mean?
It's a good game.
No, it isn't. Anyway.
Have you played it?
No, every review is like middling at best, and that's with the Nintendo bump in those reviews. So, anyway, I
never got pulled into Animal Crossing. So.
I have not played the Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, whatever it is. I briefly played the Hyrule Warriors for the Wii U. Now, this is pure speculation. Okay, maybe this game is amazing. But the reviews for Age of Calamity are pretty good. Like, I've seen 9s. I've seen, like, much higher reviews than I anticipated for this game. And correct me if I'm wrong. The gameplay of this game, the core gameplay, the combat in this game, is the exact same combat gameplay as Dynasty Warriors, which everyone said is the most boring, trivial combat and basically would get 5s or 6s every time it got released.
Pretty much. I mean, there's
in a Nintendo universe, and all of a sudden it's a 9? How is this possible?
I mean, it's 100% the Breath of the Wild connection. Now, I don't know. From what I saw, they're talking about the story elements. People seem to be digging that and saying that there's a more ambitious story here than there was in Hyrule Warriors, and I assume some of the other games in this genre. But yeah, I mean, for what I saw in the demo, I mean, I'll pick it up at some point probably, but
and again, I'd have to play it to weigh in on this officially. I certainly was not enthralled with Dynasty Warriors games and the combat and stuff like that. I'm sure there's a fan base. They made 9 sequels or however many sequels, but I just can't believe all of a sudden, like, something. This has got to be.
I think you got to look at who's giving it the 9s though. Like, there's only a couple valid outlets, or I shouldn't say valid, but like more well-known outlets. Like IGN gave it a 9.
Yeah.
Shack News gave it a 9. That's it. Then you have
GameSpot gave it an 8.
Nintendo Insider gave it a 9, obviously. Nintendoros gave it a 9 or 9.5. But yeah, like, it's not that many 9s from what I can see here. It only has a 78 Metacritic.
6. Okay, that's good. Thank you. Okay, all right. Maybe I'm just
Nintendo World Report gave it an 8.5. Like, it's a little. I guess Destructoid gave it an 8.5. That's interesting.
Crazy. That is crazy. Anyway, just had to get that in there. Get the Nintendo fans' blood boiling out there. Sorry, you know I'm right. Anyway, we done? Is that it? This is pretty long.
That's it.
Okay. Check us out on youtube.com/GameJunk.
Oh, we got to mention
Smash that
everyone.
subscribe. Hit those buttons.
No,
Do whatever you got to do.
I'm just saying, the listeners answered Dwyer's call to action last week. Dwyer said, "Let's get up to 325." We crushed it. We got up to 334. Crushed it. An extra 10
Huge.
subscribers. We're just ripping up the subscriber chart on YouTube. Soon we'll be taking over YouTube.
I'm not
Keep
going to
subscribing, everyone.
I don't. I'm not going to quote numbers, but if you are listening, check it out on YouTube. Put some comments on there. I do like the way comments work on YouTube. At least it's pretty. It's a better comment engine than a lot of the stuff we have. So, throw some stuff on there.
Let me throw a little thing out here too. Let me say, I'm curious if anyone that follows the show, either on YouTube or the podcast, if anyone didn't find us through Film Junk. If there's anyone out there that just stumbled across our show, let us know. I'm curious.
GameJunk.com. No, wait. GameJunkPodcast@gmail.com. Or you could drop a comment in YouTube.
That's right.
All right. Well, Huck is out of rum. He needs to refill
I do.
to get
Desperately.
primed for a late night VR session. Anyway,
Throw on
thanks
some
for
Batman
listening.
VR.
We'll see you next week. Hopefully, there will be at least one thing to talk about. Because right now, I don't know what that's going to be. We'll juice it somehow. See you then. Bye-bye.